Your voice, captured in a simple song, travels farther than you could ever imagine, echoing through ancient halls where even the bravest monks stop their chanting in stunned silence. Beneath the hush, something dormant begins to stir, reminding all who bear witness that our destinies are tied to secrets older than words. Raindrops tap against the glass while my laptop screen glows in the half-light. My song, All Heart, recorded on a whim, still sits at 10 views, maybe 12 now. I sigh, running a thumb over the chipped corner of the desk. Guess that one's going out to the void, I mutter, half joking, eyes fixed on streaming comments that never come. Just as I'm about to close the window, the message icon pulses. Once, then again, persistent, a new notification, time-stamped somewhere between midnight and dawn. My breath catches. Who's awake at this hour? Click. The sender's name is strange. All numbers, a single spiral emoji. Its subject is blank. I squint and read aloud. Your voice was played for the monks tonight. After centuries, their chant just stopped. Silence deepens. My pulse jumps. That can't be real, can it? I shake my head, a smile flickering. Probably a prank. The internet's weird. Still, something inside me hums with curiosity. The message continues. The abbot asks for you. There is something in your music, like a memory waking up. My chest tightens, equal parts excitement and fear swirling. You're kidding. Who would hear my song all the way up there? I reread the message. Each word feels heavier, like it's pulling me toward something I can't quite name. The world outside blurs with rain. How did it even get there? Was someone listening all this time? My hand hovers uncertainly over the reply button. A flash. A memory, not mine. Maybe older than me. Candlelight on stone. Rows of monks in crimson robes. The echo of a chant dissolving into silence. My own voice, carried by a cold mountain wind. Is that possible? I lean back, eyes wide. Something in the air changes, charged, as if the computer's blue light has unlocked a door I never knew existed. Maybe echoes never really die, I say softly, watching droplets race down the window. Maybe some were just waiting to come back. The message notification glows again, brighter. When did a random moment change the direction of your day or your life? Share your story in the comments. A sharp flutter of nerves hits as the invitation sits on my screen, almost glowing from within. There's no sender name, just a digital slip of a boarding pass. My name spelled out beside a flight bound for Lhasa, leaving in 2 days. The email is brief, its lines weighted with mystery. Come. The song story is not finished. The monks await your arrival. All arrangements will be taken care of. I frown, scanning for a trick, a hidden addendum. But there's just a single attachment. A scan of a letter, paper, torn at the edge. Holding my breath, I click it open. The letter is sealed with a swirling glyph, something like a double spiral twisting into itself, with tiny markings etched along the edge I can't translate. My pulse thrums in my ears as I read. Your music caught what silence could not. The mountain remembers. Join us where wind shapes prayer, where memory and melody awaken fate. At the bottom, there's a line in neat handwriting, probably a monk's. Every journey changes the listener and the singer. Will you answer? I must be dreaming, I whisper, fingers tracing the glyph on the screen as if it might be warm. Still, every part of me buzzes with questions. Why would anyone invite a stranger because of a forgotten melody? What do they think I'm supposed to find? The uncertainty sharpens into energy, tugging me toward the unknown. Packing feels surreal. I roll my song notebook tight, slip in a tiny recorder, every item feeling like a talisman. Out on the street, the wind has teeth, sharper than I'm used to. It whips past, carrying faint hints of sandalwood and something cooler, resinous, like incense that's traveled far. I pause, eyes closed, letting it sting my cheeks. What am I getting myself into? At the airport, my boarding pass scans without question, every gate agent looking at me just a second too long. As the flight rises into thin air, I stare out the window. It feels like I'm leaving more than the city behind. I murmur. Maybe a whole life. The engines roar, drowning out my fears and hopes alike. The next layover lands me in a city heavy with history, sun glinting on copper roofs and silk prayer flags drawn taut against blue. I spot a monk waiting at the arrival exit, his hand raised in cautious greeting, eyes keen and serene. He bows without words, tucking a thin string of coral and bone beads into my palm. "Welcome. The monastery is prepared," he says, his English lilting but assured. As the car winds its way through mountain passes, every curve reveals landscapes that feel both otherworldly and true. Fields slope down into valleys veiled with mist. The wind fills with whispers, the kind you half hear but cannot understand. My guide glances back, offering a gentle smile. "You will learn. What calls you is meant for you." My voice trembles as I answer. It still doesn't make sense. Why my song? He turns his gaze to the snow peaks. Answers are found at the edge of questions. You will see. We pass a final ridge, prayer flags snapping loud in the cold. The wind carries incense mixing earth and sky, promise and memory. Somewhere, distant chanting rises, a low, steady hum threading its way through stone. All at once, I know. Every mile, every hesitation has led me here. I'm ready, I promise, more to myself than my guide. The monastery's silhouette appears, ancient and silent, waiting. Has an invitation, expected or not, ever pulled you toward something life-changing? Tell us what happened in the comments. Morning breaks in rippling waves of gold as the drive winds closer to the monastery. At first, there's bustle. Tuk-tuks honking, children darting between livestock, market crowds swirling in color and sound. But the higher the car climbs, the more the city falls away. Cell towers give way to prayer wheels, paved roads to brittle ribbons of gravel that snake through pine forests dusted with frost. I watch from the window, clutching my notebook and the strange letter, nerves tangled and alive. Everything feels louder here, bells ringing over misty rooftops, laughter tumbling from an open door, the chop of an axe splitting kindling, even the hush between breaths. So this is it, I murmur, eyes wide as the mountain shadow stretches further, swallowing the sky in purple haze. The driver, an older man with deep-set lines, glances at me in the mirror. "You're not the first to come with a song," he says quietly, like he's sharing a secret. But the mountain listens differently every time. He thumbs a faded turquoise bead on his dash, then bends back to the curve. When we crest the last rise, the world opens with a gasp. There stands the temple, ancient stone wrapped in threads of climbing honeysuckle, painted mandalas fading into taupe and gold, blocky runes marching up the pillars in language my heart half knows but my mind cannot name. Vibrant symbols spiral across the courtyard, some painted, some sunken deep into stone. I spot a symbol from the letter, faint but perfect, at the old wooden gate. Monks are waiting. Their movements are deliberate. A bow, a palm pressed over the heart. eyes shining with stories they haven't spoken. Saffron robes flicker in the morning sun, turquoise and bone beads at every wrist and neck. I nod awkwardly, trying to follow their silent cues. Footsteps echo off polished stone beneath my boots. I feel small, exposed, both honored and out of place. A young monk steps forward, hands clasped around a tiny iron bell. He gestures for me to follow as ancient tapestries ripple at a passing breeze. The walls press close, cool and old, their surfaces studded with symbols that seem strange yet almost welcoming. "We heard your song," he begins softly. "It reminds us of a pattern woven here long ago. Even the stones listened, I think." Another monk offers a smile, open, searching, and points to the arch above the inner door. "What you bring is not only new. Sometimes a voice carries old echoes home." His gesture lingers on a faded lotus, the petals inked in lapis and wine. As we move through the corridors, every step is a heartbeat, every glance a question held in silence. I catch a shimmer, saffron slipping behind a woven curtain, turquoise beads glowing as shafts of sunlight sweep the ancient tapestries. Footsteps resound like whispers searching for a place to rest. For a moment, as I enter the main hall, everything slows. The smell of incense lifts in curling threads, shadows stretch across the polished floor, and I realize this temple holds not only prayer, but quiet possibilities for anyone who dares to listen. Has a place ever welcomed you in a way you couldn't explain? Share your moment of belonging below. Shadows linger beneath the main hall's high ceiling, the hush so dense I can feel it on my skin. The young monk guiding me pauses, his hand trembling slightly as he motions me forward. I step inside, the soles of my shoes whispering across the ancient stones. A circle of monks sits in silent meditation where harmonies once flowed. Each face is turned toward the altar, brows furrowed in sorrow and wonder, eyes darting uncertainly, as if trying to adjust to a world abruptly emptied of its oldest rhythm. The hall feels charged, every soundness stretched so tight it could snap. For a moment, all I can hear is my own heartbeat, oddly matched by a low hum I can't place. The abbot rises, gentle folds in his robe shifting with quiet authority. He beckons, voice barely a thread. "Your song traveled like thunder to these stones. One note, and our chant broke. This has not happened in our lifetimes." He raises his gaze to meet mine, studying me not with blame but with awe. My throat is tight. "I didn't mean to, my song was just..." I trail off, the words too simple to fit the strangeness unfolding. An elder monk, hands folded over a weathered prayer wheel, offers a faint smile. "Every echo comes for a reason. We wait for your melody again. The chamber's silence is not empty. It is listening." Someone hands me my phone. The screen faintly reflects the blue glyphs overhead, each one pulsing subtly in the hall's gloom. I cue the song. The opening chords spill out, soft but clear, filling the chamber. At once, silence deepens, as if every breath has been drawn in and forgotten. Ripples shoot through the floor. Bare feet sense a low vibration, ancient stones resonating beneath us, as if recognizing an old friend. Blue light blooms above, glyphs strobing and spinning in time with the broken chant. The monks watch, some wide-eyed, one clutching his mala so hard his knuckles blanch. In the back, a boy covers his mouth, eyes shining. "Grandfather, does the mountain remember this song?" His voice is barely more than a whisper, but it travels. The abbot bows his head. Perhaps it was never lost, only waiting for the right voice. Inside me, a warmth rises. Part fear, part hope, part something older. I close my eyes, listening to both the melody and the deep well of silence it stirred. I don't know why it chose me, I confess, voice trembling, but I'll see it through. In the corner, a window flashes blue, rain streaking the glass. The song's last chord hangs, not quite finished, as if even the air is waiting for the next note to guide it home. Has music or a voice ever moved you in a way you can't explain? Share your story below. Flickering candlelight glints off the polished bowls set in the center of the stone chamber. I feel every eye on me, watchful, curious, centuries of memory flickering in the lines around the elders' lips and the way their shoulders arc beneath colored sashes. The circle closes. Bhutanese Rinpoche, voice gravelly as river rock, nods without smiling. Next to him sits a Greek woman, shoulders straight, worry in the way she strokes her silver komboloi beads. Nearby, the Ethiopian elder hums softly, fingers brushing a sheaf of thin parchment, where notes spiral in unfamiliar script. The Peruvian flute keeper sits cross-legged, lips tight around an unplayed bamboo reed. The abbot is first to speak, voice quiet but firm. We honor every echo that carried your song to this room. Still, it is not simple. He looks to the Rinpoche, who cups his hands near a bowl of water shimmering in firelight. Once melodies were bridges. Today one bridge quivered, but did not fall, the Rinpoche says, eyes locked to mine. In Tibet, we believe some voices keep crossing after their bodies sleep. The Greek elder clears her throat, adjusting her shawl. I have sung for ruins and rain, but never heard silence stop the world. Your tune brings old language with it, a riddle I cannot solve. She glances toward the candles, her fingers drumming the beads in restless cadence. The Ethiopian, voice deep and melodic, leans forward. Where I am from, mountains have guardians. Sometimes a stranger's voice shakes them awake. Has yours called ancestors or something else? The parchment slips from his hand, landing edge down in the bowl. The water ripples, shimmering with gold reflections that pulse once, twice. They all turn to the Peruvian, who hushes the room with a lifted hand. He blows softly across the flute. No sound, only the whisper of air. Song-bearers are rarely chosen by ease, he says. Our legends warn that only those willing to be broken and rebuilt are given such burdens. Whose longing shaped your song? I swallow, voice catching. It just came to me, like I was remembering something, not inventing it. Sometimes I feel as if the notes belong to a dream I never lived. A shared glance weaves through the circle, uneasy but full of wonder. The melody is not yours alone, the Rinpoche finally declares. It waits for a keeper. It marks the end of one silence and the beginning of a new question. Bowls of water flicker with shifting faces, light playing across them as if every ancestor listens in. Wind moves through the talismans strung overhead. Beads, shells, feathers tremble as if plucked by unseen hands, casting shadows across the elders' lined faces. The Greek elder leans close, voice a whisper. Will you guard the riddle or surrender its power? That is your test, not ours. Her eyes glint, hope mingling with caution. As the council's hush deepens, a faint pulse stirs inside me. Not relief, something heavier and more alive. The air feels charged, ready. I nod and meet each gaze in turn, silently agreeing. Whatever comes next, none of us will remain unchanged. Have you ever been asked to carry a mystery bigger than yourself? What did you choose to do? Share your experience below. The world pauses at the horizon. Dawn seeps through narrow temple windows, painting spectral rainbows across the stone walls. Each arc bends with the breath of the new morning, color trembling as if catching secrets from the cold air. I sit cross-legged in the center of the main hall, the last notes of my song still clinging to the rafters. My breath clouds in the chill, swirling into faint, shifting patterns that vanish before I can read them. The monks remain quiet in their circle, eyes closed, lips moving in silent prayer. A long silence stretches. Something in the hush sharpens, like a string drawn tight. I try to steady my heart, fingers icy but expectant. Did I do what I was meant to? The question flits out as a whisper, barely for myself. Then it comes, soft at first, from the darkest corner where stone meets shadow. A voice layered with years and wind, neither male nor female, but threaded with every language I almost recognize. The air chills, my spine stiffens. I look up, pulse thrumming. You have sung the pattern. Do you remember why? The words settle over me, direct and distant at once. I see the faint outline of an elder, robes shifting, face blurred, presence so real it steals my breath. The monks do not move, as if sharing the same trance. My thoughts stumble. I can't tell if I speak aloud or only think, but my voice is clear in the vastness. Why me? What is this song? The entity inclines its shimmering head, rays of sunrise breaking over its shoulders, casting spectral shapes that dance across the dusty wall. This melody awakened stone and story. Not since the last cycle was completed has this pattern echoed. Only then did the world realign. It draws an invisible spiral in the air, gesture slow and deliberate. Images flash, temples crumbling into green valleys, travelers wrapped in centuries-old cloth, a girl under a blood-red moon singing the melody that pulses through my veins. I see hands passing stones carved with runes, voices shared in hidden caves, sacred words uttered at water's edge. They're my memories, and not mine. 1,000 lives brushing past in half-remembered song. The spirit continues, voice lilting. When the world's story frays, memory seeks a willing vessel. Across the seas, when drums called for rain and snowbound hills thrummed in darkness, this song became a bridge. Now it carries your name. A wind surges, making the prayer flags outside snap in sudden rhythm. Sunlight sweeps the floor, flooding the hall with shifting colors. I can see every exhale, puffs of breath drifting, breaking into shimmering symbols. The entity leans closer, spectral eyes glinting with the gold of morning. The melody, it is your inheritance and your offering. You are not the first. Others sang in centuries past. But in this cycle, the pattern demanded remembering. I nod, confusion prickling with understanding. You mean the song waits for someone? Anyone? A gentle amusement colors the spirit's answer. Always a bearer, always a witness. Names forgotten, names remade. The song only finds those who listen when the veil is thin. All at once, a word rises, strong, elegant, utterly unfamiliar. It curls in the air, syllables tumbling like water over stone. The monks' heads lift, eyes wide, each repeating the name. Not my given one, but a title older than text, echoing in languages that make the air itself vibrate. The entity's tone sharpens, a thread of warning. Every pattern balances. Melodies carry hope, yes, but power as well. The chosen voices hold keys. Sometimes the world is not ready to turn. Take care. Your singing may waken forces that sleep for a reason. Shadows shiver across the sunlit walls, momentarily chilling the air. Truth seeps into my chest, heavy and strange. I hear stories in dozens of tongues. Grief and salvation, protection and ruin, each connected by song. Now I understand. Being remembered is as potent as remembering. Sometimes the call that finds you is as much a burden as a blessing. I meet the Spirit's gaze, jaw clenched, voice firm though my knees shake. If my voice is needed for change, I can't run from it. But I won't walk alone. Help me carry only what can heal. The elder's form softens in the brightening gold, drifting back into the stones. Then walk forward. Your cycle is not finished. The prayer flags outside rustle, soft wind carrying their colors into the echoing hush. The monks remain silent, their faces serene, every eye bearing the memory of the name spoken for the first time in centuries. For a timeless moment, I simply breathe. Rays of color play over my hands. With the first chord of a new song trembling in my chest, I rise. When has someone spoken your name in a way that changed everything? Share the moment that marked your own awakening below. A low, steady pulse runs beneath the stone as the sun climbs higher. I move through the monastery's inner courtyard, the chill easing as the world brightens, only to be met by unexpected echoes. A chorus rising, not within these ancient walls, but from everywhere, as if the melody I carried has caught the wind. I'm led to the heart of the temple by two younger monks, both silent, both grinning at private jokes. The abbot waits in the doorway, phone pressed to his ear. His eyes twinkle with disbelief. "Listen," he says softly, holding out the device for me to hear. A distant voice, rough and lilting, sings a clear line, the same phrase from my song. The accent is West African, the background alive with drums and distant thunder. Another message comes in, video from a Nordic village, where a choir harmonizes a tune I've never shared beyond my own walls. They said the melody arrived in a dream, the abbot translates, brow wrinkling with wonder. One of them painted your spiral on her door. My chest tightens. How did they find it? I mutter, pressing a palm to my heart. There's no answer, just more notifications, snippets of melody hummed into a street market, a schoolchild scrawling sigils on a chalkboard, a young woman in Brazil sketching a double helix in the sand. The monks around me crowd close, eyes wide and shining. A Tibetan apprentice, cradling a battered laptop, plays a short video. On the other side of the world, a South African healer, cloaked in beads, sings the melody as ancestors' names are called between each line. This tune was in my grandmother's prayers, she says to the camera, voice trembling. I dreamed it last night. It felt like coming home. The walls of the monastery breathe with possibility, every ancient stone humming as if the whole structure could lift skyward on a single note. You see, the abbot says, his tone awed but grounded. This is no longer your song alone. The world is answering. The pattern grows larger. I run trembling fingers along the string of beads at my neck, voice a hush. It's like all these voices have always been waiting for the right moment. I catch myself, jaw working, afraid and exhilarated in equal measure. Am I really supposed to lead this, or just hold space for it? A monk with storm-gray hair meets my eyes, smile serene. Sometimes the leader is simply the one who listens loudest. Let the world's song rise. Suddenly, the courtyard erupts in laughter and applause. Children, tourists, pilgrims, all strangers, begin humming the tune. Prayer flags leap and tangle in the wind, colors bright against the newly blue sky. The chorus gains strength, braiding many voices, many memories into a living tapestry, some out of sync, some struck with perfect unity. And still, more calls arrive. Video screens light up with smiles, dances, hands outstretched, all carrying the spiral symbol in different forms: body paint, jewelry, paper lanterns, graffiti scrawled in alleyways. The song grows richer, layered with language after language. I realize this is no miracle for one. It is a mystery meant to be shared. I kneel, thunderstruck, as the bells of the temple ring out, not to announce an ending, but a beginning that belongs to anyone who wants to listen. When, in your life, did you feel the world reaching back, connecting you to strangers and stories far beyond your own circle? Share the moment below. Night settles quietly over the monastery, a weight of memory pressing in after the day's miracles. Lamps flicker along the walls, casting long shadows. Alone in a quiet alcove, I sit with my hands clasped, shifting the beads between my fingers. Laughter and melodies still drift from the courtyard, mingling with the distant clang of prayer bells, but inside, doubt curls deep and persistent. I stare at the floor, breath shallow. What if I can't hold this together? The words land heavy, muffled against stone. What if the pattern unravels? My mind reels, awash with questions. Images flicker, faces from the videos, strangers humming my song, children dancing beneath flags. I feel pride, wonder, an ache of connection. But each sense of awe is chased by a creeping fear. Voices twist behind my eyes, some encouraging, some sharp with warning. A memory floods back. My first uncertain note. How my hand shook while recording. How easily hope turned to dread the moment people started to listen. What if I wake something too big? I whisper, pressing my palm over my heart. The abbot finds me in the shadows, silence stretching between us. He studies my face, eyes gentle but searching. Great callings demand humility, he says quietly. Shadow is not your enemy. It reveals the lines where light can enter. I glance at him, my posture tight. It's happening everywhere. Do I let the song keep growing? What if it spreads pain, not healing? He nods, respectful. Courage is stillness. Danger is certainty without wisdom. Let neither fear nor glory lead. Follow the music honestly. Trust the pattern is wider than one voice. A vision slides into place. Me walking in darkness, shaky but firm, as old symbols glow beneath my feet. I see beloved faces, some urging, some turning away, each reflection a reminder that doubt, too, is a guide. Distant drums pulse in time with my chest. Shadows flicker at the edge of the candle's circle, never quite settling. As the abbot leaves, his words linger. Resilience isn't armor. It's the willingness to stand in the storm, to let truth bruise and renew you. The world may ask too much, or nothing at all. Your answer is enough, if you offer it with your whole soul. I draw a slow breath, steadying. The song rises within, soft, unfinished, but faithful. I realize now, to carry this is not to conquer, but to endure, to question, to keep singing even when the meaning blurs. In the hush, something shifts inside. My doubt becomes a kind of prayer. My responsibility, not a burden, but a thread strong enough to hold the story through another night. When did you last face a challenge that felt larger than you? How did you find the strength to keep going? Share your journey below. A sky deepens overhead, ink black and scattered with trembling stars. The mountain air is razor sharp, alive with the subtle scents of incense, pine, and damp earth. Lanterns flicker along the temple's stone paths, guiding monks and guests into a wide courtyard at the edge of the world. I find myself shoulder to shoulder with pilgrims from a dozen lands. Each holds something unique: a silver bell strung with crimson thread, a disk of jade, a pebble splashed with blue dye. a woven band of horsehair. In the hush, every token looks ancient, yet oddly new. The abbot's staff taps the paving. Tonight, we remember many lines, many keepers, our voices, our symbols called together. The sky honors this pattern, just as we do. My hands tremble around the token given to me, a feather painted gold at its tip, no heavier than hope. Others murmur quietly, prayers, memories, messages to ancestors I cannot fully understand. The monks arrange us in a wide spiral that arcs from altar to garden's edge, weaving us into one body. A Greek singer sets her coin on the ground with trembling fingers. Beside her, the Ethiopian guardian lifts his bell, its ring thin as dawn. The sound swirls up, meeting the painted pebble as a child from the village kneels, singing a lullaby that blends seamlessly with the old chants. I take a breath, letting familiar melody mix with phrases learned in the last days, hymns from all corners of the earth. Our voices rise dissonant at first, then striking a pattern that somehow belongs to no single culture, yet to all. Faces turn upward. A shiver of anticipation ripples through the crowd. The wind leaps, tangling prayer flags until they snap loud as song. Suddenly the sky splits. A meteor flares white through navy darkness, followed by another and another, drawing lines of light above our heads. Gasps and prayers scatter in a dozen languages, heads bowing and lifting in awe. The carvings that ring the courtyard, the spiral, the helix, the sun and feather, begin to glow, pulsing in time with the song. A Peruvian elder, voice worn but steady, calls. Each vow here is both shield and bridge. Our guardianship is never finished. She lifts her painted stone, words clear despite the swirling chorus. Let what we remember guide what we protect. The final notes hang as the tokens shimmer in the firelight. We join hands. My pulse races, not with fear but belonging, a sense that every hope, regret, and longing has found a place. The abbot bows his head, closing the ceremony. May this pattern, now strengthened, never be broken through neglect or pride. We are all keepers now. Let us guard and share, heal and remember. The flames burn bright in every pair of eyes. Candles blink, faces tilt skyward, and meteors keep falling, each one a sign that tonight, the veil truly has thinned. As people drift away, laughter and quiet tears mingle freely. I stay a moment longer, feathers in hand, watching tokens glow and fade in the fire's embers, the alignment written both above and within us. Mist clings to the narrow path winding away from the monastery, swirling with every step. My bag sits light at my side. Inside, the song notebook, the gilded feather, a single token from each new friend. I pause at the edge of the courtyard, heart pounding as dawn pushes gold into every shadow. The elders gather in small clusters, faces warm but solemn with farewell. The Bhutanese Rinpoche approaches first, pouring cool water over my hands, a blessing for safe journeys. I carry the current with gratitude, not fear, he murmurs, the water flashing in the pale light. The Greek singer ties a thin red thread at my wrist, her touch brisk yet gentle. Every keeper is woven into the world. Sing when hope is fading. The Ethiopian elder leans close, mark of ash pressed to my forehead. Take the song beyond mountains. Our ancestors walk with you, he assures, voice gravelly yet steady. The Peruvian guardian clasps my shoulder, slips a small carved emblem into my palm. Return if you are lost. The pattern always makes space. Monks line the temple's threshold, hands raised in blessing as I step into the cool air. The path curves and dips, morning mist swirling around my ankles. The world outside the gates is familiar, but my senses thrum with something new. Every sound clearer, every beam of sunlight layered with promise. A stray breeze catches my hair, carrying the distant melody I learned. The chant transformed, drifting with the birdsong. I stop, listening with closed eyes. The altered tune now as much a part of me as breath. The world stretches wide, each village, valley, and city below a map of possibilities. Each heartbeat another note in the growing chorus. My steps grow lighter, the binding at my wrist pulsing with memory and hope. Each footprint is a gentle vow, each inhale a reminder. Whatever mysteries the path ahead may bring, I am not walking alone. City noise blurs and hums as I step onto the main street. The world stretching in every direction, bright, bustling, unaware of what I now carry. Jacket zipped tight against the morning chill. I blend in with commuters and school kids, each face glossy with routine. Yet beneath the surface, everything tingles with possibility. I pause by a street vendor where the air sizzles with spices. The background radio drift morphing for a second, just a second, into the melody from the mountain. A vendor hands me change, humming softly. I tilt my head. It's familiar, my song, sung in a new accent, woven in with laughter and friendly banter. My heart skips. A few steps later, I catch a child on the curb, chalk in hand, swirling blue and gold spirals across the pavement. He glances up, meets my eyes, and smiles. "It's a magic song," he says, almost a secret, before darting away. Further down, the crosswalk signal beeps, and from somewhere above, wind carries a snatch of low chanting, too soft for anyone else to notice. A shiver races up my spine. I grip the golden feather at my wrist, its tip flashing in a burst of sunlight, as if signaling back. Shop windows flash with reflections. For a second, my outline glows in the glass, lost in concentric patterns that fade as quickly as they appear. Every ordinary sight, the swirl in a latte, the rainbow caught in a puddle, a snippet of conversation in a language I don't know, feels layered now, vibrating with meaning. The city's pulse merges with the echoes I brought from the mountains, weaving together strangers, streets, and stories. I realize the chorus never truly stops. It simply waits for someone ready to listen, to carry it forward. Walking home, I find myself humming, joined by the rhythm of footsteps, the hush of wind, and everywhere, the quiet but undeniable sense that the world itself is singing back. What's the strangest sign or hidden meaning you've noticed in your everyday life? Look for it. You might be surprised at how the chorus is closer than you think. A closing hush settles across my apartment as dusk brushes the window. I sit at my desk, golden feather beside my notebook, hands relaxed and open. The city pulses in the distance, alive and ordinary, yet every breath feels braided with memory. Each inhale heavy with blessing, each exhale with hope. I remember every step, the song that found me, the circles of monks and elders, the trials that asked for humility rather than pride, the chorus that swelled from every corner of the world. Not one part was solitary. Each invitation, every sign, a painted spiral on a child's sidewalk, a tone caught by a stranger's lips, reminds me that to awaken is not a singular victory, but a choice to hold space for others, to be remembered and to remember. The ancient vow is clear, even as details blur. I rise, pacing the room, feather warm in my palm. My place is both keeper and student, I say quietly. Whatever pattern came before, I choose how I add my thread. The world keeps its mysteries. I keep my song, but both change because we share them. A hint of melody drifts in from the hall, a neighbor humming without realizing, voice tumbling the same tune I brought from the mountain. I smile. Maybe I am only one note, but the chorus is made from many. If this tale sparked a feeling within you, subscribe for future stories and share. What sign or melody makes you believe there's more to this world? Invite a kindred spirit to join the chorus.